After a moment of contemplation, Bianjunyu accepted the ice crystal that Zhang Yi handed him. Zhang Yi kept one ice crystal for himself, intending to deliver it to the research lab in Jiangnan district. Seeing Bianjunyu take the ice crystal, Zhang Yi smiled inwardly, feeling that his plan was progressing perfectly. Bianjunyu looked at the ice crystal and said, "We only have one shot at this." Wu Di quickly spoke up, "Let me join you." Other members of the team chimed in, "We'll do it together." They had been through many battles, knowing that the ice crystal could cause side effects. But facing the imminent danger, they were ready to live or die together. Unexpectedly, Bianjunyu spoke loudly, "No. Only one of us needs to use it." He looked at Zhang Yi intently, thinking to himself that, by using this, Zhang Yi would owe him a favor. He glanced down at the white spherical ice crystal in his hand. It felt soft, cold like ice, and seemed to have its own life, gently wriggling. Without hesitation, Bianjunyu pressed the ice crystal to his forehead. Zhang Yi's deep smile revealed that his objective had been achieved. Bai Li Changqing stared at Bianjunyu, speechless. Wu Di, with a pained expression, cried out, "Captain, let me do it instead." They understood why Bianjunyu had made this decision. A month earlier, they had learned that even if Bianjunyu withdrew to rest, he had no more than 2 years left to live. But for the sake of his family and for a better future for his wife and children, Bianjunyu chose to stay on the front lines. The old captain had always led them through dangerous moments, protecting everyone no matter the circumstances. The ice crystal quickly merged with Bianjunyu's forehead. From a distance, Zhang Dashan watched in astonishment, his face lighting up with a manic grin. He couldn't believe that Bianjunyu was actually using the ice crystal. This kind of powerful ability had never been witnessed in Tianhai City. With such unpredictable power, Zhang Daqin knew that Bianjunyu didn't have much time left. Once he died, his powers would transfer to Yuan Kongya, who would become a true Epsilon-level mutant, one of the strongest humanity had ever seen. Their dream was within reach. Bianjunyu absorbed the ice crystal without the difficulty Duomat had encountered. In an instant, he radiated a terrifying aura that made even Zhang Yi shiver. The others felt chills run down their spines. It was an instinctual reaction when facing such overwhelming power. Bianjunyu straightened up, slowly removing his sunglasses to reveal his gray-white eyes. But now, those gray-white eyes emitted 2 dazzling beams of light, sacred and radiant, as if they could see through everything. Bianjunyu, restored, smiled with joy. "It's been so long since I've seen the world with my own eyes," he said, feeling at his peak, as if an infinite source of strength flowed through him. At this moment, he had ascended from a Delta-level mutant to officially join the ranks of Epsilon levels. However, as his mutant powers surged, his body began to show cracks, widening rapidly. The ice crystal had unleashed his potential, but it couldn't compensate for the internal damage his powers caused. In fact, it made the situation worse. Bianjunyu began coughing up blood, his hand trembling as he wiped his mouth. Wu Di and the others called out in panic, "Captain!" Bianjunyu waved his hand and calmly instructed, "Close your eyes." Everyone obeyed, shutting their eyes as the horde of zombies roared and charged toward them like colossal monsters, ready to devour them whole. Although Bianjunyu had warned them, Zhang Yi couldn't resist sneaking a peek. He opened a spatial portal to shield himself, and then opened his eyes. He wanted to see just how powerful Bianjunyu was at full awakening. With the protection of his spatial defense, Zhang Yi was confident that as long as the power wasn't directly aimed at him, he would remain unharmed. Suddenly, in the midst of the zombie horde, a light brighter than the sun exploded. More brilliant and vast than anything Zhang Yi had ever seen. No one could make out what was happening. They couldn't even hear a sound. The only thing they felt was the soft, slow footsteps. Zhang Yi discreetly watched Bianjunyu's back. His hands were in his pockets as he walked forward at a leisurely pace. The bright white light enveloped the entire world ahead, while the dense darkness of the horde stood in stark contrast. But Bianjunyu ignored the zombies as if they didn't exist. In an instant, that thick darkness evaporated like mist. Zhang Yi swallowed hard, a reflex as he raised his hand to shield his eyes from the blinding light. Bianjunyu was burning his last glorious flame. As Zhang Yi watched, a sense of reverence filled his heart. "Captain," he thought, "thank you for your sacrifice. Your sacrifice won't be in vain." Time passed, though no one could tell how long. Without Bien Junyu's command, no one dared open their eyes. The power of his oblivion was too overwhelming. Even members of the investigation team didn't dare look directly at it, much less now that Bien Junyu had used the ice crystal, amplifying his abilities beyond their previous limits. Without a doubt, this was true power. Hey everyone, enjoying the intense battle and action? Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share this story on Hana Manga Eng. Your support helps keep us going, and you can donate to help the channel sustain through PayPal LDT Group. Every bit counts. Zhang Yi knew that Bien Junyu was giving everything to eliminate the greatest threat to his team. This level of power release would undoubtedly accelerate his internal injuries. Only Zhang Yi, with the protective powers of his spatial portal, dared to witness this moment. The white light that covered everything gradually faded, and when it was gone, no zombies could be seen around them. If you're as captivated as we are, don't forget to support the channel with a like, subscribe, and share. You can also help us maintain the channel with a donation through PayPal at LDT Group. Stay tuned for more thrilling stories on Hana Manga Eng.